Wendy here, and welcome to my channel, Wendy Speaks. This is part 2 of a series of videos on signs you may have toxic parents or a toxic parent. You can look at this video first, then come back and look at part 1. In this video, I will look at 2 signs to look out for to see if you may have toxic parents. Now, let's start with the first sign. Number 1, your parent is self-centered. Now, we can all be self-centered and self-absorbed sometimes, but a toxic parent is self-absorbed and self-centered, I'd say most of the time. They will want your full respect, full admiration, and full understanding. And they will give you none back in return. It's all about their needs, their wants, and about their feelings, not yours. One example of my personal experience as a child was that I always made something special or bought something special as a gift for my parents for their birthday and for Christmas. In return, I never ever got anything for my birthday. It was never acknowledged. And for Christmas, I either got furniture or something that I needed for my room. For instance, if I needed new bedding, I would get new bedding for Christmas. That was my Christmas present. And I never got a cake from them for my birthday. And forget it with a birthday party. I don't even think I knew what a birthday party was. I never went to one and I never had one. So, and I never even got a cake or a tiny party within our small family unit either. So it wasn't even like a little cozy get-together. No, it was just completely ignored. And you might think that I'm being a bit unfair and think that, well, not everyone out there gets a birthday party, gets presents. However, my mother had parties at least twice a month. Some sort of big get-together, and she always had a party for her birthday. So there were always parties in our house, and she loved receiving presents, and she would hint all the time about what she wanted. And as an adult, she expected me to buy her presents on her birthday and even She thought she deserved presents for just being my mother, so she would expect me to buy presents. However, as I became an adult and more secure with who I am, I stopped buying presents. But she kept going on, and she tried to make it a sort of, well, I'm supposed to have a guilty conscience if I didn't spend my money on her, even though she never ever acknowledged that it was my birthday, or maybe just get me something just for being me. No, never. And that point leads on to my second sign, which is toxic parents or parent have no sympathy or empathy. So they have no empathy for how you are feeling. And if they caused you pain in any way as a child or as an adult, there is no feeling of regret, and they don't ever think it's their fault and it's got anything to do with them. If someone hurt you in any way, for any reason, for instance, if you were bullied at school or you were being abused in a relationship, say in your marriage or anything, you will be told by a toxic parent that you were the one who provoked the other person and caused that situation. You will get to know that you will not be supported and will not get any sympathy or any empathy from your parent or parents. Your toxic parent may even laugh at you when you're hurting and while they're blaming you. So I'll give you a story, a true story. And here on this channel, I will go through a lot of my own experiences, as you will know if you've been following other videos. So a long time ago, I went through a terrible divorce. It took me several years to get to a place where I was comfortable with my life again. So this divorce took years and years before it finally ended. And this is because my husband was in the Far East somewhere and I was in Britain. So when it happened, I had nowhere to live, but that's another story for another video. All I had was one friend that I just met. And she was the only person who was there to help me. I had to do everything to try and get myself back to who I was before this happened. So I took on several jobs at the same time, and sometimes I would leave home on Thursday at 6 a.m. and I wouldn't get back home until Saturday morning. And then, and when I say Saturday morning, I mean like 1 a.m. in the morning. And then I would have to start work again at 7 a.m. on the same Saturday. So I was really trying to get myself back to being someone with my own home. I didn't have any clothes. I didn't have anything at all at the time because I'd been living abroad, and I'd come back to Britain to finish a course I was doing, and I rang my husband to say that I'd finished the course, and he said on the phone that, right, it's over, and that was it. I was stuck in Britain. He was abroad where we had moved to, and we were only there for a year. He got a job abroad. So I didn't have any clothes. I just had a few clothes that I had while I was studying, so everything could just fit in one small bag. I had more books than clothes. So now I can say I'm okay with my life. However, a couple of years back, I got back together with my father. So one day I decided that I would talk to him about what had happened during the time I'd been without somewhere to live of my own, and when I was doing all these jobs, and sometimes it was in terrible environments, and I had a boss who would just shout at me all the time, and it was almost like, oh my God, she just would see me and think, right, I'm going to go after this person. But I kept going because all I saw was a light at the end of the tunnel, and because I had nothing, I'd built up all this debt that I was determined I was going to get rid of. It was a lot of debt, but I was going to get rid of it. Anyway, when I eventually decided to tell my father about this, what do you think was his reaction? Well, his first reaction was to start laughing out loud while I was telling him about what I had been through. And then when I eventually got to the end, he said to me, well, that was a good experience for you then. Bizarre. Now, if I go back to the very beginning of my time of my homeless ordeal, what happened on the very day that I realized I was homeless and my marriage had ended because I'd finished my course? I rang my husband. I went into a phone booth, rang my husband, and I said to him, right, I've finished. and he said on the phone, "Okay, that's it. We finished." So when this happened in the same phone booth, that phone call had ended, I then immediately rang my mother. She was also living abroad. She had moved abroad at this time. And I told her what had just happened. And her response was, "Well, you're not coming here." And she slammed the phone down on me. So that was the beginning of me having nowhere to go, except for this one friend that I'd just met, who said, "Right, you can come with me and stay with me." And she was the person who got me to the stage I am today. So thank you. And about my parents, well, what more can I say? So that's it for today. And please subscribe, share, press the like button. And after subscribing, press the bell if you'd like to keep up to date with my videos. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye for now.